So when we did our whole New York Comic Con, reveals thing, we actually forgot a guy.
Yeah.
And some people were pointing it out, and they're like, how could you forget to talk about him? And we forgot to talk about Skytread, specifically the modern interpretation going into Transformers Siege of the character of Flywheels. And Skytread essentially, it's funny because I didn't know if we were going to get him, because when we had the Titans Return line, they already, you had your little Titan Master Packs, which were just like a head and an accessory, they did a Skytread. They did you get just the head and a little accessory, because the funny thing is with these little accessory pack, like vehicles, the vehicles turned from one vehicle to another. So the Skytread accessory pack obviously came with a vehicle that turns from a jet to a tank. So it's kind of like, oh, there's your Duocon gimmick, I guess, you know? And then it has the little head. And so I thought, okay, well, we got already, the other Duocon team in Battle Trap, I don't think we're going to get Flywheels, or as they call them here, Skytread, because they already kind of did something.
Right.
I guess I was wrong. And we knew that this was coming because of a whole bunch of leaks and stuff. We just didn't talk about it. So here we have Transformers War for Cybertron Siege Skytread planned for 2019, possibly 2020 for Japan. But this, this looks really good. This looks really, really good. And again, if it's...
you know what it's reminding me of? It's reminding me of what we had not too long ago with Battle of the Primes, Battle Trap.
Well, here's the thing. So I
remember when I think a lot of people were like, "Oh yeah, Battle Trap is awesome." Everyone's freaking out. So I think it's really cool that they're kind of like, let's just lean into that a little bit more.
Well, and again, Battle Trap based off of the old Generation 1 Duocon. He had his other partner, which was Flywheels, also the 1987 Duocon. So it was kind of a given that sooner or later they would probably revisit this, combiner concept. And we got it here. And I'm very happy that they're finishing it up, because this is something that in the past, at least when it's come to Transformers with Hasbro, is sometimes they'll do collections of characters, if you will. And those collections of characters will always end up being incomplete, or that last character will end up as an exclusive somewhere or in a box set, and then makes it, like what they did with the Autobot clones is a good example. I'm not saying Japan side. Japan obviously did it right. But, it's like you want to complete your Autobot clones, you got to buy this giant box set and then this Walgreens exclusive, So, it's one of those things that if they would have done a Flywheels, aka Skytread down the line, it's something that I would have worried, like, oh, they're going to do a Hascon box set, and that's the only way you're going to be able to get it. So it's cool that it's going to be a retail release. We're going to get it as part of Siege, and it looks spectacular. It really homages the original Generation 1 toy very well. It's one of those things that the original Generation 1 toy was extremely limited by its gimmick and articulation, especially for a 1987 toy. So it's nice to have something that, much like the modern Battle Trap that we got, is very articulated, but yet still does the original Generation 1 gimmick. Obviously, it's not spring-loaded like the original, but it still does the gimmick of the two vehicles combining to make a robot mode. So this is pretty cool. And just like Battle Trap, this is going to be easily a day one purchase.
Yeah, exactly.
And one of the more affordable Scout class characters. So
I think they're doing a really good job of kind of bringing back that old generation Scout. You know what I mean? Like that really nicely articulated but super small kind of desk former kind of thing.
Well,
and, I think that's the vibe I'm getting from this specifically.
I think that when they went into Titan Returns and Power of the Prime, and they were playing with the idea of, well, we're going to have Scouts that come with, a little headmaster that could drive the vehicle. And I think it opened up a whole new process of how they were going to probably handle the budget for that price point. When the Titan Master gimmick was phased out, they realized, well, now we don't have to worry about the extra parts for a head that's also individually articulated, meaning to have, imagine your head sculpt also has to have 2 arms, 2 legs that are all individual pieces. that have to be assembled at factories. So it just opened up probably a different venue for engineering, and just said, hey, we could return to that like Revenge of the Fallen-esque kind of budget and, you know, hammer out some really good stuff. And there's been a lot of really, really, really good scouts recently.
Exactly.
A lot of them. So, I mean, if you're a Transformer fan like me, that while he does kind of buy everything, the higher price point stuff, I could wait for it to get cheaper through sales or to be bought in the secondary market. But, you know, strictly sticks to some of the cheaper. Like, I was very lucky that all those Pretender shells weren't Deluxe or Voyager price point. They were all very cheap, those decoy armors. And I got them all day one because they were spectacular. I loved the heck out of them. And they were affordable. So it's nice to see stuff that's in that lower price point that are extremely enjoyable, that are well engineered, that look really nice too. Where it used to be back in the day, if you bought, you know, and when I mean back in the day, I mean even going as far back as like even G1, if you went in the lower price point region, you were really messing with some boring stuff. You know, I mean, you know, you might, you know, your mileage may vary when it comes to MicroMasters or even the mini bots back in the day. But in general, if you were talking from an engineering standpoint, you know, you had to really look at the Metroplexes, the 6 shots, to really get stuff that was a little more complicated or a little more interesting. So, or even in the case of the original Autobot cars.
Yeah.
So it's nice to today that you could get something that's the lower price point. Although from what I'm reading online here, the way that they're going to do it for Skytread this time around is originally you bought Battle Trap individually. That was how it was in Power of the Primes. You got Battle Slash, which was the Legend scale, the Scout class, if you will, and Road Trap individually. This time around, what they're going to do is they're going to include both of them together in deluxe packaging, which is actually great because when you think about it, you're actually saving money. Because at least from the Canadian standpoint, that scale of the Scout class was between $11 and $12. So buying 2 of them was actually $3 or $4 more than a deluxe toy.
Exactly.
So in this case, you're actually saving money too. So he's even cheaper this time around. So this is great. Definitely look forward to it. Sorry that we didn't talk about it initially. We had so much news. Everyone saw how much we dropped in the past couple of days. And I appreciate everyone for watching it all and enjoying everything that we posted. But sorry for forgetting this. And so now we're making up for that and giving our gushing about Skytread. Anything else you want to talk about this guy?
No, it just looks awesome. I'm enjoying the fact that we're getting it and that the fact that it looks super cool. And I'm not sure how the... I can see how the weapons are working here. Like the tank comes with this red gun here. And I guess the plane comes with the other gun that's next to it. So it seems like they each get a gun individually, and then when you combine them both, they get both guns, two-handed.
Well, yeah, and how it was with the original toy was he just had the one gun, and that one gun could either go on the jet mode as like an underside turret, or it could go on the tank mode, which it wasn't necessary because the tank also had its own individual turret.
Okay.
So it was just
so it's
like
homaging that very well then.
Yeah, it was pretty much doing that. It was just pretty much going, hey, remember what the old toy did? It can still kind of do that here. The one thing I will give this new crew of Hasbro engineers, John Warden and their whole crew and stuff, is that there's a lot of fan wank passion there. There's a lot of like them going, all right, we're doing this character. Let's get that old toy out, from the box and really look at
Let's see what we can do here.
Well, it's one of
or
those
like, oh man, I liked it when it was these two toys and they work together. So let's do something with that.
But it's also something that, like, if you would have looked at just photos of, let's say, Flywheels from, like, I don't know, any website, sometimes those photos won't show the gimmick that, that the gun could be held in multiple ways. So it's something that I genuinely feel that the designers of these characters, they're actually probably holding the original toys in their hands and looking over every inch and go, oh yeah, the original toy had, plug-in points over here. Maybe we could include that on this one too. which is something you wouldn't see if you I always use the Transformers Generations guidebook. It's an old Japanese guidebook. It's always my go-to kind of if I want to look at something quickly without having to open up a window. And, a lot of stuff is left out in those books. They don't show every pose, every way a gun could be held, every peg socket that you can put a gun everywhere. So it shows that the Hasbro guys really, and the Takara guys, they're really making an effort now this time around. So this is cool.